The Cliffside Enigma. High in the Shahanandar Hills, the basalt cliffs break open to reveal a hollowed cathedral of stone. Kyasa Temple rises from the mountain itself, carved downward as though ancient hands had cut into the earth with tools finer than any chisel of the 8th century. 300 meters long, 175 meters wide, 30 meters high. Its scale dwarfs even the Parthenon, yet not a single block was stacked. 400,000 tons of rock removed. No quarries, no scaffolding, no records of how. The walls bear scenes of gods and demons, carved with impossible precision. Over 30 million Sanskrit characters line the surfaces, most unread, a library in stone locked behind a vanished language. Legends speak of a queen who vowed to fast until the temple's tower touched the sky. The architect, desperate to save her life, carved from the top downward to finish the spire first. 18 years later, the temple stood complete. Historians call it a triumph of manpower. Engineers call it a puzzle with missing pieces. When Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb sent 1,000 men to destroy it centuries later, they labored 3 years and failed. The temple shrugged off hammers and gunpowder alike. Some scholars argue for forgotten techniques passed through guilds now extinct. Others whisper of civilizations erased from memory, of tools lost with them. A few point to laser straight cuts in the rock and ask whether human hands alone could leave such marks 12 centuries ago. The stone gives no answers. It keeps its secrets under the Indian sun, silent as the day it was carved. The White Pyramid. In 1945, above the mountains of Shaanxi, an American pilot glimpsed a shape that should not have been there. A pyramid, gleaming white beneath the sun, its sides too smooth, too vast. He estimated its height at 300 meters, twice that of Giza's Great Pyramid. 2 years later, another pilot photographed it. Grainy black and white proof of a monument that should have shaken archaeology to its core. Then China closed its borders. Researchers were expelled, excavations banned. Official voices claimed the pyramids were only earthen tombs from the Qin and Tang dynasties, nothing more. Yet satellite images decades later revealed dozens of pyramidal structures across Shaanxi. Some aligned with constellations, some formed geometric patterns stretching for miles. Local legends claim the emperors who built them were buried in rivers of mercury beneath artificial mountains, shaped by mathematics and myth alike. The White Pyramid itself remains off-limits. Some say its summit once held a temple of the sky god. Others believe it marks the center of a lost civilization older than China's dynasties. A few point to myths of visitors descending from the heavens, teaching astronomy and architecture before vanishing again into legend. No modern excavation has touched its core. The Chinese government forbids it, citing respect for imperial tombs. But silence breeds speculation. Some imagine chambers filled with scrolls rewriting history. Others picture star maps inlaid with gold, machinery of unknown purpose, even evidence of contact beyond this world. For now, the White Pyramid remains a riddle sealed in clay and secrecy, a mountain-shaped question rising from the plains of Shaanxi, with no answer in sight. The Dead Sea Scrolls. In 1947, a shepherd chasing a stray goat through the cliffs above the Dead Sea threw a stone into a cave and heard pottery shatter. Inside lay clay jars sealed for 2,000 years, packed with leather and papyrus scrolls. The 11 caves yielded nearly 1,000 manuscripts. Fragments of scripture, sectarian rules, hymns, apocalyptic visions, even a copper scroll listing treasure buried in 64 hidden places. Most scholars believe the Essenes, a monastic Jewish sect, hid them from Roman legions advancing toward Jerusalem. Others argue the temple priests smuggled the city's sacred library into the desert before the Second Temple fell in fire. The Isaiah scroll, copied centuries before Christ, matched the Hebrew Bible preserved 1,000 years later, almost word for word, proof of extraordinary fidelity. Yet other texts hinted at beliefs purged from orthodoxy. Messianic prophecies, secret laws, visions of cosmic war between light and darkness. Why seal them in jars? Why scatter them across barren cliffs without markers or memory? Some say reverence, sacred words retired like the dead. Others suspect secrecy, doctrines meant for initiates alone, hidden until time itself chose to reveal them. The scrolls reshaped biblical scholarship, yet left their deepest questions unanswered. Who wrote them? Why here? And what knowledge still lies sealed in caves unsearched beneath the desert sun? Egypt's broken ambition. South of the Valley of the Kings, the quarries of Aswan bake under the Egyptian sun. There lies a monument never raised, a single block of red granite 42 meters long, 3 sides carved smooth, the 4th still fused to the bedrock. Commissioned by Queen Hatshepsut in the 15th century BCE, the obelisk would have weighed 1,200 tons, more than 200 African elephants. Workers shaped it with dollarate pounding stones and copper chisels, a process as slow as it was precise. Then a crack split the granite. The workers walked away. Pharaohs rose and fell. The obelisk remained half-born, the largest stone ever quarried by human hands abandoned where it lay. How they intended to move it 200 kilometers to Karnak remains unknown. Some point to barges riding the Nile's floods. Others argue for methods lost with Egypt's engineers, techniques erased when temples fell to ruin and languages turned to dust. More speculative voices claim obelisks aligned with stars for reasons beyond ritual, that their pointed tips channeled power from sky to earth. To them, the crack was no accident but omen, a warning from gods or cosmos that human ambition had reached too far. Today, the unfinished obelisk lies where workers left it 35 centuries ago, a monument not to triumph but to mystery, the ambition of a civilization halted in a single moment of stone and silence. The emperor who vanished. Across the windswept steppes of Mongolia lies one of history's greatest mysteries, the final resting place of Genghis Khan, conqueror of half the known world. Yet 8 centuries after his death in 1227, his tomb remains undiscovered. The chronicles speak of his campaigns, his empire stretching from the Pacific to Persia, but fall silent about his burial. Marco Polo wrote that even the Mongols themselves did not know the location. Legend claims the emperor demanded absolute secrecy. His body, carried home from China, traveled under guard. Every witness killed. Thousands who attended the funeral slain. Horses driven across the site to erase all trace. Some tales speak of rivers diverted to flood the tomb, forests planted to hide it forever. Modern expeditions have searched the sacred mountain of Birken Kaldon, where Genghis Khan once prayed. Drones, satellites, even crowdsourced image analysis have scanned valleys and ridges for signs of the grave. Nothing. Local. People forbid excavation on holy ground, honoring the emperor's wish for eternal rest. Speculation surrounds what lies beneath. Treasure from across the empire, weapons of conquest, manuscripts of lost dynasties. Some whisper of curses guarding the site, accidents and disasters striking down those who seek it. Centuries pass. The Khenti region remains remote, its mountains silent, its grasslands untouched. Whether guarded by legend, by faith, or by fate itself, the tomb of Genghis Khan endures as one of the last great secrets of history, its location hidden beneath Mongolia's endless sky.